What's up, randos? That was scary.
Yeah, we're here. We're back with fear. Hoo hoo.
Welcome into the first episode of our annual Fandom Fright Fest.
Yeah.
2021.
Finally, we're here.
So, we welcome you back into the cast. I am Ed, that's Brian, and it is going to get spooky for the next couple weeks. We will be covering all things Halloween, horror.
October, fall, movie, TV, everything.
Yeah, we'll be jumping around to a lot of different fandoms, but Brian, I think it's no surprise. This is your favorite month of the year. I think this is your favorite thing to do every year with the cast. So.
Yes, it is. I am all about it. The leaves haven't started changing quite yet, so like we're not all the way there. But horror movies are on TV, new movies coming out, stuff we're going to be talking about this episode. I get fucking hyped.
Speaking of this episode, and if you do want to follow us, fandom@random.com, all the ways to follow, like, and watch us. I highly recommend. If you're only listening, you're only getting 50% of the deal.
Yeah.
You got to go to fandom@random.com, click the watch button, follow us on YouTube. Make sure you click that little bell.
Bing.
Brian, I'm sure you can stick a bell up there again.
Yep.
But if you do, you'd be able to see our awesome set we have here. It's very nicely decorated with Halloween shit.
Not only that, but our Halloween episode, we're going to have a little treat that you're only going to be able to see on the videos.
Yeah, so make sure you definitely start watching us on YouTube, because come our Halloween episode, you're not going to want to miss it.
I'm going to be naked.
And I will not be here then, because that is scary as shit.
Just me and my dick.
All right, randos, it's going to be that kind of episode, but we are going to get right into our fandom focus of the day. And this week, as we said, Fandom Fright Fest begins. We will be talking about content to stream that will make you scream. And Brian and I, like Brian mentioned, this time of year, all of the horror and Halloween type of things start coming to all the different fandoms. Television, movies, mainly those that we're going to be talking about. But there are some that are near and dear to us that every Halloween season we want to go back and watch, and we'd like to maybe talk to you randos. Maybe there's some stuff in here you haven't seen and you're looking for good content to check out. And we mentioned to stream, we only chose things that are available on some of the more popular streaming services that you can just stream for free. So if you're already subscribed to, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Paramount.
I included Shudder as well. If you're a horror fan, you probably have Shudder.
Yeah, so you should check Shudder out. And we're going to jump right into it. Brian, why don't you kick us off?
All right. Well, this actually popped up right before I started making this list. It's coming to Disney Plus, and it's called Just Beyond. It looks pretty cool. It's going to be an 8-episode anthology, so that means each episode's going to be its own story. We got aliens, ghosts, witches, I don't know, some kind of fucking Slender Man type thing going on.
Awesome.
It looks like a good balance for kids and adults, and like I said, something easy to kick it off to. It's going to be on Disney Plus October 13th. I'm excited to check it out. And if you have the little ones, it's probably going to be a good one for that.
What's it called again?
Just Beyond.
Just Beyond. And randos, after we post this on our socials, we'll be sure to go back through and we'll list everything again and where you can find it.
Yeah.
And we're going to try not to get into spoilers either, because if you haven't seen some of these, we're recommending them. You should check them out.
Yes,
some good stuff here. So one of mine, and again, content to stream that'll make you scream. This won't necessarily make you scream in fear, but you will be howling of laughter.
Yeah.
Young Frankenstein. Mel Brooks, classic film starring Gene Wilder, all in black and white.
The horror community will hate me. I've never seen it.
You've never seen Young Frankenstein. All right.
Nope.
So this is great. So not only am I recommending it to you randos, but my co-host here.
Yeah. I saw it, and I'm like, I'm definitely watching it right after this episode.
You have to. because it is the take on obviously the classic Frankenstein film, and Gene Wilder is just absolutely fantastic in this. Great supporting cast.
It always comes up in the horror circle, and it's always a classic, and it's something I should have seen by now, and it's just one of those ones who's kept escaping from me.
Yeah, and it stands the test of time, and you can find this on Amazon Prime streaming. So again, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you get access to all of the Prime streaming. A lot of stuff for free. Young Frankenstein is one of them. So highly recommend. Hop on Prime Videos. Check out Young Frankenstein.
Nice.
It'll make you laugh.
Ha 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 ha. Alrighty. Well, that one's going to go on my watch list. If you don't know, on my Instagram, my spin-off Instagram, Brian at Random, I'm on day 3 of 1 for 31. New movie I've never seen every day of October. Just did The Hills Run Red.
What's your Insta tag if people want to follow?
Brian at Random. Yeah. And
that's a tough one to remember.
It
I
is.
don't think I'll...
So if you need to, just contact us. I'll remind you. Anyway, my next one, this one is, so technically it can be called horror, Locke and Key on Netflix. Season 1 came out 2 years ago, and it's based off a graphic novel. And
was that like the quasi-superhero one?
No. Locke and Key has scary elements, but the TV show is a lot more fantastical than horror. But at the same time, it's good as creepy moments. So it's another really good one. If you're not full on into horror, but are looking for something to watch for Halloween or October, Locke and Key Season 2 is coming out October 22nd on Netflix.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll check that out. Add it to my watch list. Also, Rando, as I mentioned, you should be watching this on YouTube so you get the full effect. You would see Brian's wearing a Nightmare on Elm Street t-shirt.
Sir.
Which is
prime time, bitch.
Fantastic. One of my favorites, and I'm going to segue into that right now. So A Nightmare on Elm Street, you can actually check out, and I'm talking the OG Nightmare on Elm Street.
The original.
With the, just, Robert Englund, man. Robert Englund in the role of Freddy Krueger was amazing.
Breakout role.
You know, it was, up until then, a lot of horror was just horror.
Yeah.
And he really captured the comedic side. More so in the sequels. The original was much more horror, but there was still that.
So anyone who doesn't know me, Nightmare on Elm Street is and will always be my favorite franchise. That being said, 1 and 2, I bounce off each other. 2 is sometimes my favorite, 1 is sometimes my favorite, but the first 2 movies are by far the scariest out of all of them. And in a world where slashers were ruling, Friday the 13th, Black Christmas, Halloween, Wes Craven brought a supernatural kind of dream element to the slasher, and it was an instant fucking classic. And if you've never seen the original and you can handle, because this still scares me when I watch it, still holds up. You have to check it out. Not only that, but HBO Max has the whole collection.
I was just going to mention, HBO Max is where you can find this. So if you've never seen the original Nightmare on Elm Street, do yourself a favor. Hop on HBO Max. Check it out. Complete classic.
Definitely. All right. I'm going to bounce around here. So this is another really cool one that I saw a while back. It's more like a home invasion revenge flick. It's called You're Next. And it's about a girl and her new boyfriend going to a family dinner in the middle of the woods at a mansion, and all of a sudden the house gets invaded. Little do you know, the girl is like some backwoods Australian survivor type, and she fucks these dudes up like left and right, just Rambos the entire place. And the twists and turns that happen throughout the movie, it's just a brutal, fun flick, and it's on Hulu right now. You can watch it. So that's something you can pick up tonight if you really want to get into it. But yeah,
what's it called one more time?
You're Next.
You're Next.
I wish I had the name of the girl. Yeah, it's on Hulu because she's a model, but she plays this badass horror chick.
Yeah, I mean, you can look it up if you want. I'll go into mine.
Yeah.
So my next one, again, I shouldn't say it's not scary because this definitely has some scary parts, but The Craft.
Yeah.
The original, The Craft on HBO Max if you want to stream it. And this one was awesome. If you're into witchcraft, I mean, this was one of those classic movies about witches and covens that, they tried to put the modern day spin on it. Early Nev Campbell
Yeah.
who was great in the film. Also, Robin Tunney, Fairuza Balk, and Rachel True.
Oh, Fairuza Balk was amazing in this. She was the reason I got scared.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, she probably stole the film, even
Yeah.
though she was not really the lead.
Yeah.
It was like more of a, she pretty much became the lead.
Lead
She was
antagonist, yeah.
awesome in it.
Yeah, she really was. And like you said,
I'm flying!
It was trippy. It was like an adolescent film, going through adolescence with heart. I saw it when it first came out. I must have been 7. And the snake scene freaked me the fuck out.
The bugs.
And we're not going into full spoilers or anything, but yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, 4 high school girls form a coven, realize that they can actually cast real spells.
Coven. I like that you say coven.
Is it coven?
Coven.
Whatever. You're the horror guy.
I've said coven. I could have been wrong the whole time too. I don't know.
Potato.
Potato.
So they form a coven. Sorry, Brian.
It's okay. It's okay.
But yeah, it's great. One of my favorite films to watch around October.
Yeah, it really does have that October feel. So, I'm going to save the best one for last. Let me move on to this. We got a new Chucky series coming out, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a pretty good Chucky laugh.
I love it. And we're getting Brad Dourif, as always, voice of Chucky.
Mark Hamill did a good job in the movie, though.
Yeah, in the remake, he did a good job. Wasn't as good as the regulars.
Dourif is that character.
Yeah. So we're getting that. It's being made by Don Mancini, the other original creator of Child's Play. It's on USA and SYFY. And I believe you can stream it on their services, but this is going to be more like a cable thing. So I guess I kind of broke the rules on this one. But it looks good. And they are using animatronics and puppetry to keep it true to the film. But it looks like it could be a little corny. But either way, it's Chucky. We're getting a TV series out of it. And it's the first episode's premiering October 12th.
I'll segue right into mine then.
Yeah.
One of mine is the original Child's Play.
Yes, sir.
And I know they did the remake. It was okay.
It had potential. It was cool. The story was cool.
Yeah, but the original Child's Play, you can watch it on Hulu with the Starz subscription.
Yep.
And came out in 1988. And this film, man, this made because dolls are always kind of creepy anyway.
Yeah.
After this film came out, I remember you could buy. My dad actually bought the good guy doll.
Yeah.
The little Chucky doll.
Yep.
And he had it. I'm like, Dad, you got to get this thing out of the house.
I won one at a carnival. My grandmother tells this story to everybody she knows at any family party. I won a Chucky doll at the carnival. I must have been 4 or 5. Brought it home, and before it turned night out, I walked outside completely buck naked to the edge of the woods, tossed Chucky in the woods, and walked back in the house. And later
this was last Halloween, right?
Yeah, the Halloween before that. Little did I know that somebody had went to grab it, bring it back, and put it in my room before I went to bed. And that's probably why I'm so fucked up now with dolls, but it was a good story to tell. So,
So, yeah, Child's Play, the OG, one of my picks. If you have not seen that, do yourself a favor, randos, go back and watch it.
where's that on?
That was on Hulu.
Oh,
with
it's
the
on
with the
Hulu.
Starz
Okay.
subscription. It's
All
on Hulu.
right, nice. Next one. So, dude, Paranormal Activity is still not going away, and they're coming out with a new one. I just found this out today. I had no idea. And it's Paranormal Activity 7 called Next of Kin.
They're up to
I have
7
kind
now,
of given up on the series. I will always watch them because the first Paranormal Activity was one of the few movies in my adult life that actually scared the shit out of me. And it's on Paramount Plus, so it's not coming out to theaters, and that worries me a little bit, but I'm going to check it out either way. It's a ghost story. You all have heard of it, and it's going to be a good one to watch. It comes out at the end, so it's good for Halloween because it comes out on October 29th.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, one of mine that I'm going to get into right now is you've got your buddy over there. You've got Ghostface. We've got him in the background. We got a little picture of him down here.
Yep.
What's your favorite scary movie? I've got to go with the original Scream.
Hell yeah.
So you can watch this on AMC Plus, DirecTV, and Pluto TV for free.
Yeah, buddy.
Came out back in 1996, and a lot of people attribute this to kind of bringing horror back to the mainstream,
Yep.
because there was a little bit of a lull.
The relaunch of horror
And slasher. I mean, this film, I want to look at the numbers real quick.
What was it, 96?
It was 96.
Yep.
It grossed, 173 million worldwide, becoming the highest grossing slasher film until the release of Halloween in 2018.
Yeah.
But adjusting for inflation, to this day, it is still the highest grossing.
Yeah, which isn't surprising. And little bonus for anybody who's a hardcore fan, they are re-releasing and remastering Scream the Original in theaters next week, I believe.
For real?
Yeah.
I would go check that out.
The new trailer for Scream Not 5 is going to be premiering as well. So I'm absolutely going.
Let me know if you go. That's one I'll check out.
I think it's next week. Could be the week before, but it's coming out all over the country. So it's going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah. Another quick funny story. So that movie came out in 96. So I was only 11 years old. And I obviously I never saw it in theaters.
Yeah.
I saw it after it came back to home video. I think I was like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And I don't think they realized, again, another great Wes Craven film, I don't think they realized how big this film was going to be.
Yep.
And, I mean, they had a great cast, too. I mean, Drew Barrymore,
Yeah.
leading lady, and I don't think this is too much of a spoiler, but, you know, she doesn't last too long in the film.
One of the most memorable intros to any movie, never mind a horror movie, ever.
First 10 minutes of the film, you're hooked.
Yeah,
like
you
that.
think you're getting a main star, and she gets whacked.
It was actually Nev Campbell
Yep.
all along.
I mean, yeah, dude, I saw Scream 2 in the theater with my uncle. He snuck me in. I must have been 11, maybe 10, and had to leave halfway through because I was so fucking terrified.
Well, that's where I was getting to the funny story. So when Scream 2 came out, I'd have to check what the date was. But I went, it got a hard R rating.
Yeah.
We couldn't get in. So it was me and a couple of my buddies. We went to go see it was like some PG film that was starting around the same time.
Yeah.
So we walked in, we did the classic, get by the ushers, go in, walk right back out, snuck in to go see Scream.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just awesome.
Yeah.
People in full costume dressed
So
as
cool,
Ghostface
dude.
in the
Yep.
theater. And yeah, it was,
That's what I'm hoping for this time around. I didn't get to go to the original Scream. I want to go there and because it's going to be all the hardcore fans.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to feel what it was like to be in that fucking theater. And it's going to be, as long as I don't get a knife in the ear through a bathroom stall, I'm okay.
Again, AMC Plus, DirecTV, Pluto TV. Check out the original Scream. If you have not seen it, that is a high priority for you this month, Randos.
Yes, sir. This one has been out for a while, but The Invisible Man, based off the Universal Monster Invisible Man.
This was the newer one, right?
Yeah, it stars Elizabeth Moss.
Yes.
It's amazing how well this movie is acted. Not only that, but technically there's no supernatural elements. It's just atmosphere, acting, and the way the suit works and everything that comes together to making a terrifying film. It's just a really like a character study on a woman who's been not physically but mentally abused and emotionally abused for so long she's trying to escape him. But not only is he a psycho, but he's got a suit where he can be fucking invisible.
Yeah.
Just imagine how terrifying that could be. And then a movie who does it that well. I was blown away when I first saw this movie. I think it's something anybody can watch. It's not horror enough to turn people like you or somebody else away. And it's a great movie to see. It's streaming on Amazon Prime now. So if you haven't, I would check that one out.
Remember Hollow Man with Kevin Bacon?
Yes. So it's kind of like that, except way darker and not. It doesn't have as much charisma.
Yeah.
Or color, I guess you could say.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah,
Of
dude.
course we got back to Kevin Bacon. There's no way to get away from him.
No way. Nope.
All right, my next one, again, not really a scary movie, but it really does encompass the Halloween October feel. This is another film that every October I have to watch it. And Randos, if you have not seen it, go watch it right now. The Crow.
Oh, yeah.
The original Crow.
Can't rain all the time.
Can't read all the time. You can stream it on Paramount Plus and Pluto TV. So it came out in 1994 based on the graphic novels, and it starred the late Brandon Lee. Fire it up, fire it up. Banging away on old Darla again.
It's such a great movie.
So,
dude.
and it's all about a guy that he's in love, and he ends up getting killed, and his girlfriend gets killed.
Yep.
and he comes back to seek vengeance, and he takes on this moniker of the Crow, and just the overall, like, it just screams like 90s gothic aesthetic.
Yeah, dude, the setting, the atmosphere, Brandon Lee and his acting.
Oh, unbelievable.
It's like just over the top enough to be a good 90s movie, but not jumping the shark over the top.
Yeah, and he killed it in the role, and unfortunately the role killed him.
I knew that was coming.
Late in the film, just like his dad, he died tragic. Again, Bruce Lee, his dad, Brandon Lee, his son, he died tragically young, complete freak accident. I believe it was a blank, because there's a scene in the end where they're all shooting guns at him, and he can't die because he's the Crow.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there was I don't think they cleared the chamber on one of the guns, and something went off, and it lodged, and it killed him.
Ultimately, it was the Yakuza. This is one of the conspiracy theories that I believe Bruce Lee was involved with the Yakuza, and it just followed the family.
Really?
I think so. Yeah, it's out there, but...
Oh.
Dude, maybe it was different back in the 90s, but if you know anything about special effects, you never use a gun that's been loaded with real bullets. You just never put a real bullet in a prop gun.
There wasn't a real bullet in the prop gun, though.
Or
they didn't clear the chamber correctly. Even blanks, like, you have to... There was something to do with, like, the blank still fired something out of it.
Yeah.
And I guess, like, if you clear them properly and you do it properly, like, that should never happen.
It just feels weird. It always felt weird to me.
Maybe that's something, randos, if you want us to...
I thought we talked about it on Cursed Movies.
We did, but we never delved into the conspiracy.
There are a lot of theories about it because of his dad and him and something else with the family, but it is a cool story. We should get into it.
Yeah, we should do that. So, again, The Crow, check it out. One of my favorites.
Hell yeah. Alrighty, which one are we going to do next? Midnight Mass on Netflix. New show from... some director, I forget his name, which is a shame because he did Haunting at Hill House.
Oh, it's great.
If you've heard anything about Haunting at Hill House, it's one of the fucking scariest TV shows to come out in a long time.
That car scene?
Oh, my God. I've never seen a jump scare earned so well. He built up to that perfectly, and my soul felt like it went to fucking Cleveland for a day because I got so scared. Oh, my God. Anyway, he did this new show. I'm only 2 episodes in, but it's a slow burn. So keep your patience. By episode 3 and 4, it kicks up, and I've been hearing a lot of good things about it. It's on Netflix. You can watch it now. Another good one to get your October kicked off of.
Cool. Yeah, and I've got a couple TV shows, but I'm going to hold those to the end. So I'm getting towards the end of my movies here, but I've got 2 more movies, 2 TV shows, then I'm done.
Yeah.
So again, I mentioned I'm not really Brian is the horror guy in the group. I've dabbled in it. I've actually been dipping my toe a little bit back into it after The Ring scarred me for life.
He just watched Buffy the Vampire, the original, the other day, so he's doing good. Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
But some of my favorite kind of quasi-horror films, it was right around, like, late 90s into early 2000s. Mm-hmm. Which makes sense because, we were in high school around then.
Right.
And one of my favorites is 28 Days Later.
Yes.
So the original, 28 Days Later, the post-apocalyptic zombie film that
turned the zombie genre on its head.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I always, I was into, zombie films, werewolf films, vampire films, all that. And zombies kind of always followed that same kind of, like you mentioned, slow. They just overwhelm you with numbers.
Yeah.
In this one, that got thrown the fuck out the window.
Absolutely.
These were like fast, rabid zombies. And it was directed by Danny Boyle, written by Alex Garland, and it starred a young Cillian Murphy, who a little quick fandom fact, before he took the role to do this film back in the 90s, he was actually he was in like a rock band.
Oh, really?
Like a punk rock band. And
I can see that. He has sort of like an Under Oath look to him.
Yeah, and they ended up getting signed to a label, and they wanted him to tour and do this. And last minute, he decided, you know what? He's like, I think I want to act instead.
Yeah.
It was a good choice because this film, it had not a huge budget by any means. I think it was like $8 million.
Yeah, it was low.
And it profited it grossed at box office. I think it was just north of 82 million. So it grossed a shit ton of money, and then the word of mouth after.
Yeah.
Like when this thing hit DVD,
It was like they weren't.
and then eventually Blu-ray.
Yeah, the scariest thing was they were technically zombies, but it was more like a rabid disease that was getting these people.
Yeah.
And to see the violence and the speed and the agility at which these things could move, you were just, and not only that, but it was just such a raw cut film. So it felt real.
Yeah, and when Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, the writer and director, talked about how they wanted the zombies to act in this film, they more, like you just said, they more so like an extreme fast case of rabies.
Right.
That would literally just, all you could do was just rage, and you'd want to rip people apart.
Kill, kill, kill. Murder, murder, murder.
And I loved it too. Like, it also kind of spun it on its head, because usually in other zombie films, you get like the classic someone gets bit.
Yeah.
And then within like a day or two, they'll turn.
Right.
In this, it's about, 10 seconds?
Something like that,
10,
yeah.
15 seconds, and then they full on. So if you have not seen 28 Days Later, if you're a zombie aficionado, check this film out. Again, HBO Max.
Dude.
You can watch it.
So I'm going to have to rewatch it. I'm waiting for them to come out with a Crossed movie. It's a comic series, and it's along the line of 28 Days Later, except completely more fucked up, because all the zombies have sexual urges as well as violent urges.
Okay.
So they're all like running around with massive hard-ons, and one of them fucks a dolphin, and it gets so weird, but I need to see a movie of it. If you're into comics and you don't have a weak stomach, the original run of Crossed is by far the most wild zombie story I've ever heard.
I mean, I'm hearing that. I'm just
yeah.
like I wish I don't have a dolphin drop. I wish I had Flipper.
Dude, it gave me this like drop in my gut when I was reading it. I'm like, this is by far the most messed up thing I've ever seen. But anyway, if we ever get a zombie movie about that, that'd be cool. That'd take the genre to a whole new level. That's for sure.
It's all you, my friend. What do you got next?
All right. VHS 94. So VHS is a found footage series. We have 3 of them so far. The first was amazing. The second was okay. Third was just meh. This one's going back to 1994. I didn't even know about it until a couple days ago, but it's going to be premiering on Shudder. It's an anthology series, but it kind of Get over here, you zombie.
I found it.
You sick fuck.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, my God. Anyway, it's an anthology where, a couple different stories happen, but usually they kind of cross all the stories together in one way or another. It's really cool. It's usually really good for a Halloween party or something where, you get 10 to 15, 20 minutes short stories to watch. Comes out on Shudder October 6th.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds like Shudder's the place to be in October.
They have a lot of under the radar shit, like Haunt. It's a haunted house movie. I might as well throw that on there now. You can watch it at any time. It's a Shudder original. One of the best things I've seen in a couple of years. So
yeah, and again, SHUDDER, Shudder.
Yeah.
Awesome horror streaming service.
Yep.
My next one, this is my last movie, Final Destination. Again, another film that came out around 2000, supernatural horror film. And I loved it, man.
Yeah.
I loved it when it came out. And, a lot of films, it's usually like a monster or a slasher or a ghost. This is literally death.
A force.
They were literally trying to, so they circumvent and they escape death, and then death comes back for each one of them with a vengeance.
Yeah.
And just the constant, trying to, outdo it, and it's just getting them one by one.
Yeah.
And it really just a cool film.
I want to say this is one of the first horror movies I went to by myself with friends in the theater. And that beginning scene just left me on the floor when it shows them get cooked by the fire.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, oh my God. And I was hooked after that.
You mean in the
obviously.
plane?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, when it's going up and everybody gets
and
roasted.
It gets on fire, and you see Devin Sawa just like.
Oh, then he wakes up.
That's
yeah.
exactly what he does. He's like.
Yeah, and
But then he wakes up, and those. It's kind of a cliche now. Final Destination did it first. So when everything happens, you're like, holy shit, this just really happened. Then he wakes up. Like, oh my God, that was fake. But no, it could be real. So it was cool before it was a cliche. Now everybody fucking does twists like that. So it doesn't really hit as hard. But Oh, man, I rewatch these every few years. I love them.
HBO Max, Randos,
sir.
if you want to check it out.
I actually just watched 5, I think, a couple weeks ago.
I didn't even know they're up to 5.
Yeah. All right.
You would think like it would be the Final Destination.
That's the one it's called, The Final Destination.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
All right. This is my last one, and then we'll take over on Ed's list, but I saved the best for last, dude. Halloween Kills. The second Halloween in the new Halloween trilogy, which picks up after Halloween 1, not Halloween 2. It's all kind of fucking confusing on the timeline now. But 2018 Halloween came out. Now, 2021, not only does it come out in theaters, but it comes out on Paramount Plus, Halloween, October 17th.
Oh, no shit, because we wanted to watch this. I didn't realize we could just stream it.
We can. I think I'm going to go to the theater for it because, it's a Halloween movie. But it's going to be bloodier. It's going to be more brutal. And Myers looks fucking terrifying in it. Reviews haven't been there. But that's a lot of the case with horror movies usually.
Yeah.
So that doesn't deter me at all. October 17th, theaters or Paramount Plus. It's going to be free on Paramount Plus. You can watch it. That's my biggest get of October is the new Halloween movie.
And that's a little bit of a hint, Randos, on what we'll be doing with our last episode of Fandom Fright Fest on Halloween.
Wink,
so,
wink, wink. Yep.
Yeah, keep Halloween in mind.
Oh, yeah, dude. But, I mean, it continues. It's the trilogy of Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers haunting each other and finally going to get that story tied up, hopefully.
Sweet. All right, my last two are both TV shows that are near and dear to my heart that I usually will go back and check out around this time of year once it hits fall and October season. You kind of alluded to one of them earlier, but the movie, I'm talking about the TV series, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You can check it out. It's all up on Amazon Prime and Hulu. I mean, Joss Whedon.
You can never beat Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
No, I mean, I've gone back and watched this show so many goddamn times. And again, not really scary, but there were some episodes here and there that were creepy as shit.
Yeah, dude, they had
kind of like Supernatural. Supernatural has some episodes that kind of creep you out.
Yeah,
Buffy had those too.
They had good Halloween episodes too. So even if you've seen it and just go through the Halloween specials, that would even be fun for an October viewing.
It would. But yeah, you can go back and check that out. I don't need to talk too much about Buffy because everybody knows it.
Everybody.
But my last one is, if you have Paramount Plus, you can go back and watch the original Are You Afraid of the Dark? So I was a big fan growing up of, Nick, and then it was actually Snick, if you remember, on Saturdays. They would do it later in the, it would turn into Snick, and you would get Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Hell yeah, dude.
Submitted for your approval to the Midnight Society.
Intro is scarier than anything they've put on Nickelodeon in the past fucking 20 years.
Lighting the match.
Yeah. And like the clown on the tricycle. Oh, I love that show. And bonus points, they redid Are You Afraid of the Dark in more of like a limited series type thing.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a movie, and then they decided to do a limited run, which is also on Paramount Plus.
It wasn't terrible. I would recommend if you have kids, that one to be something to be watched with them. It was really fun, I thought. I thought they did a good job. They call back to movies like The Changeling, Argento Street. Like, they make a lot of cool horror callbacks. It's really fun to watch, so.
Yeah, and it's a good one, too, that, it is creepy, but at the same time, like, if you have, like, even, like, preteens or, like, early teenager, you could still sit down and watch it with them.
Right.
And they'd probably be fine or have nightmares forever. I don't know.
Either one. I mean, we all had nightmares at one point or another. Fuck them up a little bit. That's how they get tough.
Well, Randos.
That concludes the meeting of the Midnight Society of Fandom at Random.
Oh, shit. Well, we have a lot more Fandom Fright Fest content coming up.
Yes.
But we hope you enjoyed some of our recommendations if you're looking for things to stream in the month of October and beyond. Follow us, fandomatrandom.com. Watch us, like us. You know the drill.
And if you want like info on more horror movies, more obscure horror movies, come to me. Contact me. I love this shit. I will give you them. I'll turn your soul against you. Trust me.
All right, Randos. Later.